praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, Ruel, peace and salutations to the elect, and much respect to the brothers pushing his word in the four winds of the earth. And shalom to you few sincere sisters out there as well. It's Brother Ariah coming at you with another lesson. And that was a beautiful video there. I'm not sure if it's old or new or what have you, but that's the first time I seen it. And that video to me, just shows how the curses are being reversed. Pretty much the only type of animals that, deal with us are domestic animals, okay? Cats, dogs, things like that. But like wild, birds out in the wild and things like that, black bears, raccoons, we don't deal with those. We stay away from those. And in Esau's kingdom, you'll see a lot of these animals warm up to Esau like that. I mean, sometimes, in some instances, they will get attacked. But, I've seen a lot of videos where, animals will pretty much, be at peace with Esau because, this is his kingdom. A lot of these animals don't really warm up to us like that because we're cursed. And you best believe that these animals can definitely sense that, right? But now, seeing that video, which is a beautiful video, showing that these curses are being reversed, Deuteronomy 30th chapter. But I'm going to read this real quick. It's Isaiah 11. I'll read 1 through 9. And there shall come forth a rod out of the stem of Jesse, and a branch shall grow out of his roots. And the Spirit of the Lord shall rest upon him, the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and might, the Spirit of knowledge and of the fear of the Lord Yahweh, and shall make him of quick understanding in the fear of the Lord. And he shall not judge after the sight of his eyes, neither reprove after the hearing of his ears. But with righteousness shall he judge the poor, and reprove with equity for the meek of the earth. And he shall smite the earth with the rod of his mouth, and with the breath of his lips shall he slay the wicked. We're speaking of Yahweh Shai. And the righteousness shall be the girdle of his loins, and the faithfulness the girdle of his reins. And the wolf shall dwell with the lamb, and the leopard shall lie down with the kid, and the calf, and the young lion, and the fatling together, and a little child shall lead them. And the cow and the bear shall feed, and their young ones shall lie down together, right? And the lion shall eat straw like the ox, right? So now, in the animal kingdom right now, it's pretty much eat or be eaten, right? And in the kingdom, that's going to be no more, man, okay? The scriptures say that in the kingdom, man shall learn war no more, and these animals will learn war no more either, okay? And the suckling child shall play on the hole of the asp, and the weaned child shall put his hand on the cockatrice's den. Then, they shall not hurt nor destroy in all my holy mountain, for the earth shall be full of the knowledge of the Heavenly Father as the waters cover the sea, right? So it's beautiful because in the kingdom, we're going to have animals, wild animals for pets. We're going to have lions for pets, monkeys, gorillas, whatever animal you want, sea animals, whatever you want, koala bears. I ain't going to keep naming all these animals, but pretty much whatever animal you want, to have, as a pet in the kingdom, we're going to be able to have these animals beside us and not trying to, hurt us, The scriptures say that even before we get into the kingdom, Job the 5th chapter, and what's that, 5 and what's that, 20, 21? 21 through 23, it says, thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth, right? And that's going to happen before the kingdom. You know, um, when everything goes to shit out here in Babylon the Great. You know, a lot of animals coming from all over the place. A lot of these zoos have a lot of these animals in captivity that, you know, eat human flesh. And they will be eating human flesh. But in that time, the Lord is going to have it to where the beasts of the earth will be at league with us, right? Just like you've seen in that video there, you know? And it says, for thou shalt be in league with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with thee, right? And that's going to be a beautiful time as well before the kingdom, right? Meaning, you know, in times of trouble, the Lord could send, you know, some bears to help you out, or a pack of wolves, or even a poisonous snake, right? Even a poisonous tarantula can come help you out in time of trouble. You may see brothers riding on the top of bears, okay, and lions and, you know, things like that. And a lot of extraordinary things are going to happen in the near future, man, okay? It's just that just is what it is. It's going to happen. You know, I have trust and faith in that fully. You know, these things will be seen, okay? And a lot of people, when they see them, are going to be perplexed. But these things are definitely going to happen here in the earth real soon. Let me get, I said Deuteronomy, right? Yeah, because, you know, these curses are definitely being reversed. There's one video I had seen with this, you know, this Edomite looking guy. He could be an Israelite, you know, just because he looked like, you know, a white, so-called white man don't mean he's not an Israelite. But he was out on his back porch and he was feeding these raccoons, man. It was like at least 50 raccoons out there, man. They was all around him. And, you know, raccoons can be real vicious, man, right? But they were just all around him, and he was just feeding them, and they was just chilling and eating. And they were just, you know, real relaxed around him. I know they was hungry. They like, yo, he feeding us. We ain't going to do nothing to him. But, you know, you try that out here in the hood, see what happened to you, man. Come across a raccoon and you try to get close to it and feed it, it's going to try and attack you, man. You know, just showing that these curses are being reversed and they will eventually be put on our enemies, man. Deuteronomy 30, and I'll just read 1 through 7 here. And it says, it shall come to pass when all these things are come upon thee, the blessing and the curse which I have set before thee, and thou shalt call them to mind among all the nations, whether the Lord thy power have driven thee, and shalt return unto the Lord thy power, and shalt obey his voice according to all that I command thee this day, thou and thy children, and all thine heart, and with all thy soul, that then the Lord thy power will turn thy captivity, and have compassion upon thee, and will return and gather thee from all the nations, whether the Lord thy power have scattered thee. If any of thine be driven out unto the uttermost parts of the heaven, from thence will the Lord thy power gather thee, and from thence will he fetch thee. And the Lord thy power will bring thee into the land which thy fathers possessed, and thou shalt possess it. And he will do thee good, and multiply thee above thy fathers. And the Lord thy power will circumcise thine heart, and the heart of thy seed, to love the Lord thy power with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, that thou mayest live. Okay, and this is going to happen in the kingdom, right? We will no longer have a heart of stone, okay? And it says, and the Lord thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies, and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. Okay? So yes, we're seeing that now. We're seeing the transformation, or not the transformation, but these curses, being put upon our enemies slowly but surely, coming off of us. Even though we know we still got to go through Jacob's trouble and, other things as well. But, you know, we're seeing that now, the beginnings of it, okay? And of course, the ending of that will be in the kingdom, um, when it's fully set in stone, when them curses are fully reversed, okay? Um, Let me see. You know, I was going to go into 1 Samuel 7, the 17th chapter, how how David, was wrestling against, you know, bears and lions, man. You know, we're going to be able to do that in the kingdom without them trying to, take us out and eat us and kill us, right? Even though he did it because they were, eating some of their flock or whatever. But, yeah, we're going to be able to wrestle against bears and against lions, man. Against big beasts, gorillas. We're going to be able to wrestle against gorillas. Yeah, that's going to be fun, man. I wish I could do that now, even though I know I ain't got no wins. But, that'd be fun. There's going to be so much to do in the kingdom. We're not even going to have to worry about our children in the kingdom. Okay? What's their whereabouts or what have you. Right? We ain't going to have to put out search teams and wonder, did my kid get kidnapped? Or did somebody, harm my child? Or did an animal grab my child up? None of that is going to be worried about in the kingdom. Okay? This is why we are definitely anticipating the kingdom. It's going to be, a very beautiful time, man. Worry will be put away forever. We won't have to worry about anything, man. Because everything in the world will be in league with us, right? Speaking about the beasts, everything, man. Even the trees, everything, man. Like spoken about in Isaiah the 14th chapter. When these wicked men are taken out of power, right? Because the trees are definitely alive as well. What's that? Isaiah the 14th chapter. Isaiah 14 and yeah, and it says I start at 4. It says that thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, and say, how hath the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased. The Lord hath broken the staff of the wicked, and the scepter of the rulers. And he who smote the people in wrath with a continual stroke, he that ruled the nations in anger, is persecuted, and none hindereth. And the whole earth is at rest, and is quiet. They break forth into singing. Yea, the fir trees rejoice at thee, and the cedars of Lebanon, saying, since thou art laid down, no feller has come up against us. Right? Showing you the trees are alive as well. And what does Esau do? Like to play hacksaw Jim Duggan, cutting down all these trees, man, to make profit off of them. But the trees, they purify the air, man, and they let off oxygen as well. But this is why there's so much smog and, shit in the air, man. Because, Esau is destroying the earth, or trying to destroy the earth anyway, trying to fill his pockets, But yeah, not to get off the topic, but I can't wait for the kingdom, man. Not just for this, but various other things as well. The world being ruled in righteousness, but being able to, be close to and around, animals that, you watched on National Geographic, growing up as a child, wishing, damn, I wish I could have one as a pet, But a lot of these animals now are not domestic animals, but in the kingdom, a lot of these animals will be, all these animals will be considered domestic animals, man. Not just cats and dogs. Quick testimony. Before I came into the truth, I was on, chilling on this block in the summertime, and it was flooded. Everybody was outside. It was a one-way street, so from one end of the street to the other, it was just flooded. Everybody outside. So, out there doing, wickedness, drinking and smoking and what have you. And, we out there chilling, And then out of nowhere, this ferret, comes running across the street. And at first I'm like, yo, that's a squirrel, and I'm looking at it and it's coming right for me. And I'm like, yo, what the, I'm just looking at it. And then, them things are pretty quick. So it got to me fast and it ran up my leg and it just crawled up onto my shoulder and was just sitting there, And I'll never forget that, man. Everybody was looking at me like I had 8 heads. Like, yo, what the fuck? And I had never seen this ferret before in my life. I don't think I've ever had seen a ferret ever in my life. But, showing that even though in my wickedness, I had some type of good vibration, other than the other people that were out there, because that animal could have chose anyone to come to, but it chose to come to me. And I'll never forget that, man. And that video reminded me of that. I had forgot all about that. But yeah, that's gonna be a beautiful feeling in the kingdom when, these animals will be, peaceful with us, man. And yeah, I just wanted to bring this, quick lesson out. I pray it was edifying. I want to say shalom to the next one.